Alright, g'day guys. Welcome back to another episode of Salty Dane's Fishing. Today we're going to talk about squid jigs. In particular, size, style, colour and brands. So first off, we'll talk about size. Now squid surprisingly aren't afraid to hit a lure that's quite large. I have caught many a small squid on a large jig. This is a 3.5. These ones here are a 3, and these little bad boys here are a 2.5. So I've got a good range between a 2.5, a 3, and the 3.5 size jigs. All in different colours, different patterns, different sort of jig shape and size, and even a couple of the Emeraldus nudes, which I'm not actually too impressed with, but we'll go into that a bit later. So, is there one jig that will catch squid consistently? And the answer to that question is no, there isn't. That is why all people who fish for squid and fish for squid regularly will have such a large range of lures, because the squid can be quite picky, and it comes down to a lot of things. One is barometer pressure, how much the squid are feeding, and two is the cloud formation, brightness of the day, time of the day, and that solely affects the colour of the jigs that's going to work better. So a bright, clear day with good clear water is when I find white jigs, white glow with a red head, white and pink, such as the Black Magics, pink in general, a nice white and orange jig, and one of my favourites, the yellows, or the lemons. The bright jigs work best on a bright day. Every squid fisherman will say the same, and that's the go-to. If I had to choose a squid jig that I could only ever use for the rest of my life and would never choose another jig, it'd probably have to be one of these. So the reason behind that is, as you can see, this jig here, she's a little bit old and she is covered in squid ink. The yellow, she's faded quite a bit. The yellows just get absolutely hammered. The whites are a real close second, and it'd be a tough choice between them, but I've just done so well on those yellows that I couldn't say no to having one of them all the time. So the other thing is then, what about dark days? What about overcast days? Well, that's when you want to opt for your darker coloured jigs. One's going to throw off a shadow. So squid are actually colourblind. They see in ultraviolet light. So the squid jigs that have the red foil bellies do really well on a dark day, or coming close to dusk, or just before, after sunrise. Even nighttime, if you're fishing under the jetties, under lights and that. So red foils. Green jigs are also renowned for working quite well on a dark day. And then I've got a dark jig here that has a red belly as well, and a red foil, and that works really well on dark days. So basically the principle is bright colours for bright days, dark colours for darker days, and then dusk and dawn, etc. I tried these Emeraldus nude jigs, got 2.5 orange, and this sort of pink, clear, yellow, see-through one. I've not caught a squid on this one yet. I've only managed to catch 2 squid on this, and that was right on sunset. Whereas the bright coloured jigs, all these ones here, I've caught so many squid on jigs just like that, pretty much any time of the day, overcast or bright. So they are my go-to. And if the squid are not feeding hard and I cannot get them on a bright jig, I will change to a darker jig on an overcast or stormy day. And sometimes that'll be the change that you need to get the squid. So the idea here is, what I want to show you is that having a selection of colours and sizes is really important. Now the sizes idea here is, it's not so much that the small squid won't hit a large jig. It's more to do with sink rates, so how fast this squid jig is going to sink to the bottom, and especially if you're squidding in shallower waters. So the 2.5s and even the 3s at the max, I wouldn't squid in any less than 2.5 meters of water with a 3, just because of the sink rate when on a boat. Anything deeper than 2.5 meters, 3, and then 3.5 on probably sort of 4 meters plus is where I'd be going for jig size, just for that sink rate, so you can get down to that strike zone closer to the weed. But yeah, go-to size is between the 2.5 and the 3. I mainly squid sort of in that 2.5 meter range of water, so between 2.5 and sort of 3.5 meters of water is my main go-to area for squidding, and I'll always have either a 3 or a 2.5 on, depending on the speed of the drift as well, how fast we're moving with the boat, and that sort of stuff changes that as well. So all in all, basically there is no set colour that's going to work, and all these jigs are probably on the higher end of the spectrum in terms of cost. I think the cheapest one here is probably about $20. You can get the Black Magics actually on special for about $14, I think, so they're not too bad. They're quite well priced, and these work really well. The idea is, yeah, try and stay away from those cheaper bargain bin jigs. They still catch squid, don't get me wrong, and you will catch squid on them. They just do not catch anywhere near as successfully as the higher end jigs. So rather than having 10 $5 jigs, buy 2 $20 jigs. You know, something in like the Haramitsu Lemon, or even, you know, a couple of these Black Magics and these pink and whites. These things have really done well for me lately. Get a couple of better quality jigs. They're gonna sink slower and more naturally. They don't just plummet to the bottom. And then when you actually jig them, they'll actually swim a lot better and look a lot more natural, like a prawn. And that's going to be the difference between catching a lot of squid or coming home with ink on your face. Colours, bright day, dark colours, dark day, sizes to match the drift and the depth you're fishing, and then try to have a range. Don't be afraid to swap your jigs out if you're not getting any squid on a certain colour, because some days they just won't feed on them hard. Best thing to do there is to fish at least 2 rods, try 2 different colours, 2 different sizes, find what's working for the day, and then you can match from that and normally get a good feed of squid. So, alright guys, well that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you want to know any more, drop a comment below, ask some questions, I'm happy to answer some more. Hope you got information from this, and it's going to help you guys catch a few more squid. I know I'll be getting out there again once this sort of rain pushes away and we can get out for a fish and not get too wet in the tinny. Get a good feed of squid. So hope to see you out there. If you're enjoying it, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.